today that Anthony Davis made it very clear that he doesn't want to play the center so frequently, that he wants and prefers the power forward position. Now, this is something that isn't really like breaking news, groundbreaking news. This is something we've known forever, right? I mean, Anthony Davis has always expressed that he doesn't want to play the power forward position. There were even all those talks back when the Russell Westbrook deal and all that stuff, where Anthony Davis said if he has to, he'll play the power forward or the center position. LeBron will play the power forward position, whatever they need to do to make it work. Now you hear the talks from Rob Pelinka where he's like, hey, we want to kind of get back to that 2020 look where you have two big men. You can operate two big men at any time. Now, this doesn't mean that Anthony Davis is never going to play center, right? Anthony Davis very likely is still going to play a good amount at the center position, because that's also what makes him so special and so much of a mismatch, is his ability to be basically unstoppable unless you double or triple team him down inside the paint. The other issue is, since the bubble year, this guy hasn't been able to shoot the basketball. Right? His 15-foot in is still there. That's still money. But his 15 out has been very bad. Right? I mean, he's had years where he shot 19% from three and stuff. That has to change if he's going to play the four. It would be great to see a Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis unit out there, to see a Christian Wood and Anthony Davis unit out there, and have AD in that sort of scout position with his size, with his length, with his ability to get back quick, right? And not only defend the perimeter, but also be able to keep an eye and defend the interior, right? And you have Jackson Hayes, who's a really good pick and roll defensive big, and you'd have him and Anthony Davis side by side. I think that could be really solid if Christian Wood can buy in defensively, which he's had some pretty solid defensive years. He's not known as a defender, but he is a guy that is capable of playing defense, and he's actually pretty good on even smaller players. So you'd have the nice versatility there. And adding all the new signings that they did, it does a couple things. One, again, it gives you the ability to play AD at the four because you have Christian Wood and you have Jackson Hayes. And those two guys are guys that are capable of playing the center position. Christian Wood is more of a 4 than he is a 5 with his ability to stretch the floor. But he is still 6'10 with a 7'3 wingspan. He does get bullied a bit, right? He's not very strong and physically just brute. You saw Rui Hachimura be able to guard Karl Anthony Towns and Jokic, right? You're never going to stop those guys, but because he's strong and he has a good lower center of gravity, he's able to not get bullied and pushed around when he's defending these bigger players. Christian Wood, he struggles at times, and even out on the perimeter, right? Like I said, he's good at defending, guards, like some of the quicker guards, some of the wings, but the guys that are strong and burly and can kind of bump him off of his spot, those are the guys that he sometimes struggles to defend. But you can put him in proper schemes alongside Anthony Davis, and he knows that Anthony Davis has got his back. You can make it work. Here's the negative to that. If Anthony Davis is going to play the power forward position, then it's going to make things so much more difficult for Darvin Ham to find minutes for guys. Because now, let's say you're going to play Anthony Davis. Let's say you play him 30 minutes a game. And you split it up, 15 minutes at the center position, 15 minutes at the power forward position, right? So now you have 15 minutes that are locked up to the power forward position in a 48-minute game. So now you have 33 minutes to get guys minutes at the power forward position. And you have LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, you have Taurean Prince, you have Cam Reddish, you have Jared Vanderbilt, right? You have 6 guys. Even Christian Wood is capable of playing the 4, but my guess is he probably plays the 5 primarily. He's probably either the guy that ends up starting, although they say that they're not going to start him, they're going to start Rui. But so what are you going to do? You're going to start Christian Wood, Anthony Davis, Rui, LeBron, and Reeves? So then AD has to play the center if you're not going to go that route, right? So it makes things very complicated, because now you have 6, 7, 8 guys that could all play the power forward position. And yes, most of them can play the small forward position, right? Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince. Could you even do what Utah does with Lauri Markkanen and maybe play Christian Wood out at the 3 spot and use his length and maybe have like a lineup, which I think could be pretty interesting, of Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, and Anthony Davis. That could be pretty cool. Something to experiment with. Again, Christian Wood is actually pretty good at defending the perimeter. He's good at giving the space and then closing out with his long arms. So that could be something that could work. But it creates a bigger logjam in an already logjam, where it's like, not saying that Anthony Davis wouldn't have played the power forward position ever, but it's like if he's spending, for example, if he's spending 15 and 15 or more, let's say he's spending 10 minutes at the center position and 20 at the power forward position. Now you only have 28 minutes to fit, and you have like 6 guys that could do that, and then you got so like, how do you make this work, right? Like, that becomes a problem. Guys are really going to have to buy into the idea of like, all right, there's going to be nights where I'm only going to play 10 minutes, right? There are going to be nights where I don't play at all. And guys like Max Christie and very likely Cam Reddish are the odd men out. Cam Reddish and Max Christie, which they wanted to play Max Christie a lot, right? That was the plan for him to take that leap into the backup role. I don't see how you can do that now, because you're probably going to have to run some bigger lineups, some positionless basketball units, and you're probably going to have to play guys like, for position standards, like LeBron at the 2, right? You have Reeves at the point, LeBron at the 2. You have like Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood and Anthony Davis, right? Like, and you have a unit like that out there, right? Where it's like, it's positionless, but it's like, there's not really like a 2 guard. It's just, you have a bunch of guys. Or you move guys like Taurean Prince to the 2, right? He plays small forward, he plays power forward. In today's NBA, the only difference is nothing, right? If you're playing power forward, they're usually 6'8" guys, 6'6" to 6'8" guys. Same thing with the small forward position. And a lot of cases, same thing with the shooting guard position. Those guys are like 6'4" to 6'6", right? Like, so the matchups are going to be the same. You're doing the same job and the same role regardless. If he plays the 3, what's his job? 3 and D. Plays the 4, what's his job? 3 and D. If he plays the 2, what's his job? 3 and D. That's the only way I see you being able to make this work, is you start mixing and matching the guys for different lineups, and guys that usually play, the 3 or the 4 are now playing the 2, right? Like Cam Reddish, you could throw him at the 2. So maybe you could get minutes here and there, Max Christie here and there, but it's just Anthony Davis, he's going to have to play center in some spots, right? I don't think the acquisition of Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes means AD's never going to play center, right? Like, there were some of these reports, because I was reading a couple of them, that were basically saying like Anthony Davis doesn't want to play center at all. That's not what he's saying. He's saying he doesn't want to play it as much during the regular season, right? When you get to the playoffs, he's probably going to be playing center a lot. But that's what happened in the bubble year, right? During the course of the regular season, he was primarily the 4. He played spots at the 5. He played 5-10 minutes a game or whatever at the center position, right? But it was mostly Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, right? And then AD played the power forward position and then kind of filled in gaps at the center position over the course of the season. So very likely that's going to be the case. They'll kind of get back to that. And then come playoff time, he'll end up playing center a lot more, and he'll kind of man that center position, especially against certain matchups. Now, if you're playing like the Warriors in a matchup, then like, I don't think you need him at the center position for a matchup like that. You could get away with like a Jackson Hayes or a Christian Wood, because like the Warriors don't have a guy over like 6'9", so like you're fine. But if you do play Denver, you're going to need Anthony Davis, especially late in games, trying to slow down Jokic. You're going to need to, because that's what makes him special. And like, I've heard people say, oh, Anthony Davis, when he plays power forward, he's gotten hurt at every position. He's gotten hurt at the power forward position. He's gotten hurt at the center position, right? Like, him moving to the power forward position doesn't mean that he's going to end up not getting hurt. He's gotten hurt at both positions. If there was data and there was proof that like he's never gotten hurt at the power forward position, then sure, I'd be fully supportive. But that's not the case. He's gotten hurt as a power forward. He's gotten hurt as a center. If he gets hurt, he's going to get hurt. Knock on wood, right? Hopefully nothing happens, right? But he's his numbers aren't like that drastic either way either. But his shooting, he's got to get his shooting back. And another big factor, and this might end up being the biggest factor, is LeBron James. LeBron James at this stage of his career is best at the 4 spot. At 39 years old, year 21, right? You're going to make LeBron James play the 3, and you're going to make him have to chase around all of these perimeter guys? You're going to make him have to chase around all these twitchy, like, the reason he liked playing the 4 and the reason the 4 made sense is because he could play in that scout role. He could sag off of whoever the power forward is, because it's usually guys like Draymond or Aaron Gordon or whomever, right? That like are his size, that he can defend, that aren't super quick, that he's not going to have to chase off of screens and stuff, that are basically just standing in the corner for catch and shoots. And LeBron can kind of navigate both, and they're usually not the best three-point shooters, so he doesn't even really have to close out hard. Right? Like, that's why LeBron plays the 4 so much. And he can kind of play that point forward and play out of the post, do whatever, right? That makes sense. Well, now you're going to move LeBron James to the 3 spot. He's coming off of a foot injury that may or may not have caused him to have surgery. We still don't know that for certain, right? So you're talking about a guy who's going to be 39, year 21, with all his mileage, who's coming off of a severe foot injury, that now you're going to put at the small forward position and make him have to chase around all of the Mikal Bridges and Andrew Wiggins and guys like that of this world, and coming off of screens. And when they go small, and like you're playing the Warriors, he's going to have to chase around Clay off of screens, right? Like what? He's going to have to chase Wiggins. Like, what are we doing? Right? Like, and again, I'm sure, my guess is the starting unit is what we think it will be. It'll probably be D'Lo, Reeves, Vando, or Rui. Maybe it's Rui, because the Lakers want to start Rui. So I could see them going D'Lo, I'd see them go D'Lo, Reeves, let's say Rui, LeBron, and AD. Right? I could see that being the starting 5, and then AD kind of playing 5 minutes in that position, and then slides over to the 4. You get LeBron some rest. You insert, a Jackson Hayes or a Christian Wood, and then that's kind of how you run that rotation. That's my guess. But time will tell, and, AD, over the regular season, I get it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But come playoff time, this dude's going to have to play the center position. So, anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What do you think of this news? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.